the same here today?
Well, it is going to be our first map, Lijiang Tower Control, as we move on. And the thing is, we don't have much information about AF. This is a completely different roster. They're playing with only half of their starting roster out from Season 4 with Lucid, IDK, and Arhan. And then from there, everything else has just been flipped on its head. Now, MT1, though, is a team that has generally been playing as the underdog, and that benefits you in many different ways, but the most important way, I would say, is that they get to play whatever they want. And we got to see that towards the end of the OWPS, where they're pulling out these pocket strats like, well, Penta take on King's Row, moving on to fourth within Orisa.
Weren't they like the first team to actually bring out the Roadhog? I believe they did it before Leave did for MY, and then Leave started playing like right after Unturn brought it out. If I'm not mistaken, it was really close with who brought it out first, but one of the few teams in China actually playing the Roadhog, which we've been hearing from a lot of the teams out here participating now in this tournament, is that Roadhog is actually really strong, and he's a very high necessity to help deal with like Winston's with Divas in particular, who have basically just turned into DPSs.
And this is a map where actually people like to play the Roadhog. Yeah. We're on Nepal, we're on Sanctum, and the environmental kills cannot be understated. They are super strong here. Lucio Boops, you got the Hog Chain, you got Orisa's Halt that can pull people into the pit, and we'll see what the teams come out with. Of course, D.Va has been a staple so far over the first day of APAC.
Yeah, I think we're going to see her almost every single game. And Fazix actually on Envision tweeted to me before we actually kicked off the day's games, saying that Lucid is the best Zenyatta he's ever played against. So that's a lot of... the thing is, he's probably playing against Unco as well from Rogue, who's considered one of the best Zenyatas and Anas in North America. So that's a lot of high praise from this man. We'll see how things go here. Malama getting on the D.Va yet again, and Unturned so far on the Tracer this time.
Yeah. As Crystal, he is the primary hit scan, so he goes over to the Soldier 76, allowing Unturned to go over. PP starts it off. Now this is the guy who was the main Lucio for their team as the res comes out for Jin, bringing him back in. They've got the D-Mech, but Crystal pushing forward. He's got the tactical visor. Did they expect it? Here's the self-destruct coming out also, just splitting up the forces and even getting the kill onto PP, and it's all AF basically on the kill feed at the point unlocks.
And they still have IDK up on Mercy. One thing I do like about AF, and I mean we have 4 maps to talk about it, is the fact that they can now run the Genji Tracer that they previously couldn't do with Recry on the team. Arhan had to fill both roles, the Tracer and the Genji for them, but now Tidala, very good DPS player playing flex tank for them, could potentially switch to Genji to run that dive comp, and then Toon can switch over to D.Va if they want to keep the 2-2-2. But from what I've been hearing from, I believe it was Envision, they've been playing a lot of heavy tanks. So a little bit death volley when we get to some other maps, not Control in particular, maybe different modes, is kind of what we expect to see out of them.
Well, right now we do have a Toon. He's on that Soldier 76 with the tactical visor. Once he bursts down this shield, he's going to go ahead and pop it. Now he's on the hunt for this Winston. He will fall Unturned. Gets the D-Mech as the Toon continues to chase after the tank line of MT1. Now with Transcendence is going to be used now by MT1 as they push forward, but there's the red. Tidala is back into this fight.
And Crystal still, he's getting so much freedom. There's not a lot of pressure directly going towards him. There's a lot of people around him, but no one really focusing him. Tidala, very low in health, will be eventually desuited here. And Malaman able to get the follow-up kill. Now the attack price for Crystal coming out. It looks like on the MT1 we'll be able to turn the point around.
Possibly it's still being contested right now, but Crystal is able to chase for that kill onto Jin. During the meantime, Atoon's trying his best to bring this back in their favor, but Crystal, no one's able to dislodge him from the high ground, and with that, they'll be able to flip it in their favor, but it's still 64% on the board for AF.
And they're going to shove them back here, just try to get full control of this point. Don't really have an amazing team to hold choke. I mean, with the Soldier, you want to hold back, hold towards pillars, do a lot of chip damage before they come in. Also makes it really hard for Atoon to really kind of fight back when you have a slight high ground advantage, but you have your teammates around there to really protect you, especially if Unturned's going to be going for the flanks. But with that pulse bomb up, Jamerson, I'm looking for him to land a stick. He's got so many people grouped up.
They are so grouped up in this corner. Arhan on a really long flanking route here, trying to get onto PP, but he's getting pocketed right now by the Mercy. Malanlan gets the booster kill onto Jin. Will they be able to res that back in? PP accidentally walks back into that pulse bomb. He will fall, but still, the kills are getting traded back and forth by MT1.
Malanlan desuited, won't even get the chance to resuit here as AF is just taking the fight directly to them. That's going to be a Moth swatted out of the air, and that will be AF turning the point around after a little bit of time. But MT1, with only 64% on the board for AF, have every chance to turn this around. The problem is they don't have that many ultimates. They're going to be matched when it comes to trances between Lucid and PP here.
Yeah, both teams just committing almost everything into every single fight here. They know that this opening win is going to be crucial moving in. I mean, you only play 3 matches total. So every single victory matters at this point. Once again, the deck comes out and no one's really focusing down Crystal. They're trying to get rid of the tank line, looks like.
Now Arhan again, able to pull off the 1v1 against Unturned. Marbleu gonna get the res to bring him back alive. And Toon will eventually be shoved out of the fight, but they're not able to get to him to actually finish off this kill. Rek will pop the Primal Rage, trying to stall for some time, maybe knock some people around, pick up a kill or two. But Malamon able to take down IDK, most importantly, taking the Mercy out of the fight.
Yeah, and they're able to chase after a Toon. We are still in overtime. They need to make sure they keep members on the point. And with that, they're going to force back Afreeca Freecs. They'll flip it back in their favor, but still, they're just playing on a razor's edge. They've got to be careful. They can't lose a single fight at this point.
I mean, look at the ultimates on both sides. We do have AF realizing there was no need to commit that Transcendence. They're going to have a Visor as well. Crystal and Atune going head-to-head. They're really keeping up with each other when it comes to these Visors, but Arhan's Pulse Bomb is going to be the big turning point here. Does separate them and kills Crystal. No Visor up for him.
Yeah, this time Arhan able to get that front-loaded damage with that Pulse Bomb. Now they're just chasing after the kills. Crystal will fall. IDK for Afreeca will be the only member going down so far as Atune. Once again, just facing off against this D.Va. He doesn't have his biotic field, but it doesn't matter as the rest of his team is cleaning up, and with that, AF Blue will be able to win out here on Sanctum.
Now, I was earlier on today on Discord talking in like the OW, which is like the generic Discord that we have for competitive Overwatch.
Yeah.
And people were giving Atune a lot of, not slack, but really kind of talking that he had a lot of pressure on him and seemed to have not really performed when it came to Challenger. Because keep in mind, yeah, he was on AF Red with Tidala back in the day, but he came from Challenger Season 5 just this season with KNCB Max, where they placed 7th out of 8 teams. They went 2-5, and the team seemed to really struggle over the course of that entire season, but there's a lot of pressure on him, I think, in particular, to really perform. There's a lot of outside pressure, but also within the team. But they must believe in him to bring him back up, you know, through the ranks, through the minors, into the majors. And they have to have faith that he can perform, and this is his opportunity to show that.
Yeah, so far, I mean, he's been holding his own with that Soldier 76, but now there's not going to be any 76 battles. It's going to be Crystal swapping off onto the Genji. They just want a bit more finishing power on the side of MT1. Yes, no mercy, and it's Marbleu that has to flex on over to the Zenyatta. Crystal already getting the first kill, taking out Jin, and that puts them in a great position as the tank line just getting cleaned up by MT1.
I did see, Dive yesterday, but Dive can still had the Mercy. They just got rid of the Lucio and used the Zenyatta and the Mercy to make that one work. I mean, we're going to see MT1 initially get the capture here, so it does work out for them so far. Not needing that second res or that second life for anyone on their team. But if you play Dive well and you know how to play it well, you don't really need those reses to make these fights work, because you just know how to kill the right targets at the right time. Yeah. And IDK doesn't have the opportunity to really escape.
And with the way Dive works, you're basically just camping that body anyhow if you do get that initial frag. True. So Mercy doesn't want to go into that. Right now, AF Blue posturing. They are contesting the point as MT1 are just luring them in, waiting for them to find a great position. Go in Malanlan with the micro missiles. Doesn't get as much damage as he wants it off. It's going to be Arhan that starts it off, taking out Rekful. You don't have the no reses on the side of MT1, so now they are 3 members down, but they were able to take out IDK.
Crystal is having a pretty solid game so far on his Genji there, picked up quite a few kills. It's really questionable the way I think MT1 engaged initially. They're running Dive. Yeah. And if you don't dive when running Dive, then why are you running Dive? I mean, that's just kind of a redundant question there.
It looked really scattered when they went for that engage.
It was. I think they got a little bit lucky there. They had, a Sound Bear to keep them healthy, which is something that AF didn't have. They didn't have a trance to counter it.
And that's a huge pickoff. Lucid coming in. Malanlan was not able to get back into his mech. The Transcendence will be used by Marbleu. They try to fight back into this Primal Rage. Never mind. It's not going to be used quite yet. As Arhan dropped down low, he's forced a recall here. No kills going over quite yet. Until I say that, they finally answer with Marbleu, and both supports now down on the side of MT1.
They did have to commit the Transcendence. They still have another Pulse Bomb ready to go. They have a Self-Destruct, even a Primal Rage to use, and the Valkyrie, of course, one of the, I guess we could say, strongest ultimates in the game at the moment. Not used, not committed. And MT1 don't have anything to respond to that. So if they're going to pull this off, this next fight, they're going to have to somehow kill IDK, I think. And even then, it's still going to be a rough fight, because if anyone gets caught by that Pulse Bomb at Arhan, you're not going to have any way of escaping that.
Yeah, you don't want to fight into a 6v8 here. Now Crystal working his way towards a Blade. There isn't a Transcendence yet, but they're a little bit slow on the approach, so Lucid's getting closer and closer to building it up. Crystal needs to find his window, and he needs to find it now as the dive comes out. He's got his Blade. He's right on top of 76. He will be able to get a tune, but Mothra gets out of there alive. The Transcendence now comes out from AF.
Well, Butterfree, no chance to see her coming in on MT1. And Crystal wasn't able to really accomplish too much with this blade. Malone gets knocked off the map, and Jin, the kind of the new man to the team, is having a solid game here. Pick up a nice double triple there, position himself really well. And MT1 will lose the fight yet again.
Into that last fight, MT1, they only committed the Primal Rage and the Blade, and they were able to get so much value off of that Primal Rage, Transcendence, along with the Valkyrie used on the side of Afreeca Freecs. Now they do have to deal with both offensive ults, Attune on that Soldier 76 with the Tactical Visor, and Arhan with that Pulse Bomb. We'll see if he can get that value target, if he can maybe get PP before he gets the sound barrier off.
I don't know why I thought Mothra was a Pokemon for some reason. I thought you said Beedrill. And I was like, hey, Butterfree. Yeah. Venom. There we go. We're going to see Tidal come in with the Micro Missiles, get a kill, and Attune from the backside with the Visor is going to help shut them down. And again, another fight going to be lost here for MT1, but they have a Transcendence this time. They committed Sound Barrier, though, in that last fight. And that did force AF to respond in kind, using a lot of these ultimates, too. So it's kind of understandable to use a Sound Barrier there, but this Transcendence, the timing of it for Marblue is going to be so rough. He has to use it at the right time, to which they might need to facilitate to even get to the point. But Crystal, he almost has his blade up, and that could be what they need to close this out.
Yeah, we've seen Trance Blades before. I mean, we saw it for almost 7 months now. Crystal, he's got it. He's going to go ahead and pop that out, trying to hunt down this Winston. Jin will fall. IDK still alive, though. He has to be the next priority target. He is starting to get focused down, but he still has the healing there. It's going to be Attune that cleans up Crystal, but still, it's a back and forth affair, and it's flipped for MT1.
They're going to get it for now, but you have to kind of wonder how long is that really going to last. Attune not close to attack Visor, and they're already at 90%, so someone's going to have to touch the point. It's going to be a rushed engagement out of AF. I want to see MT1 dive right now. I want to see them get the fight on their own terms, not have to re-engage on the point.
Lucid was able to land some of those Orb of Discords, and so, Orbs of Destruction, and he's got that Transcendence now, but Arhan will fall. IDK, is he anywhere near to be able to get that res? There's the Transcendence as they're trying to continue to fight on the point. With that, Jin's able to get the kill onto Marblue, so now it's a 5v5 fight. As Arhan has respawned, he's going to have to run back into this, but we have Jin with that Primal Rage just trying to battle around the members of MT1, but here it is, the Tactical Visor for Attune.
Yeah, but PP, he got his Sound Barrier off in the midst of this because Marblue was dead. He was getting so much healing now done. The Valkyrie has been popped out of IDK, able to get quite a few people back alive. Tidala back in his mech, most importantly, and able to get a kill on the Wreckful.
Now they have the reses, they have the man. Wreckful is now down on the side of MT1 as overtime is ticking away. Attune just trying to deal with Unturned here in the back line. They will flip it over, and it was in overtime for so long that it just ticks away like that. And with the win here on Sanctuary, they're going to go ahead and take the victory on Nepal.
I have to agree with what Fazik said to me.
Yeah?
Lucid is insane. He's insane, Zenyatta. Like, every single time Crystal tried to blade someone, there was always an orb on that person he was trying to kill. And beyond the fact he was orbing the right targets, his positioning was outstanding. He was staying really far away from IDK, so IDK can jump back to him if he needs to escape. But also, he was so far away that there's no way Crystal could ever close that gap, close that distance he needed to kill the Zen, to take him out of the fight. And with IDK playing around pillars and having people to jump to, Crystal couldn't lock him down either. Really well done by the support core out of AF.
Yeah, so the Afreeca Freecs facing off against a team that's, well, been this core unit for a really long time and looking really crisp doing it. And yeah, I was super impressed by both IDK and Lucid, especially Lucid. He was building up so many Transcendences. There were very few windows of opportunities.
We really need to figure out if Transcendences or Transcendencies. We'll find out.
Okay, well, we'll be right back. During the commercial break, we'll be looking that up, guys. Don't go anywhere. We'll be moving on to map number 2 after this.
开了吗？时间加速器我都能搞定，这肯定没问题。全体守望先锋，全体守望者们，还是不对。所有曾是守望者的伙计们，我是温斯顿，当然是我了。30年前，智能机械向人类宣战。 世界各国无能为力，直到他们召集了一些英雄精英，为了使人类摆脱致谢危机的威胁，守望先锋诞生了。你们成为了人类历史上最伟大的和平守护者和开拓者。你们之所以被选中，是因为你们有能力和实力。你们之所以加入，是因为……这些你们都知道。听着，人们认为没有我们，他们的生活会更好。他们甚至把我们当作罪犯。他们摧毁了我们这个大家庭。但是你们看看，现在必须有人站出来。我们必须站出来。我们可以再次改变这个世界。这个世界比以往更加需要我们。你们来不来
？Everything's moving so fast, it feels like I'm standing still. Let's get it. Hey, man, don't give up. Let's get patched up. Back's healing, boys. We move together as one. Oh, feel that healing beat.
All right, welcome back. And our MVP for map number 1 on Nepal, it is going to be Jin, latest addition to Afreeca Freecs here, and he was doing a fantastic job on that Winston for them on Nepal.
Yeah, he had some really good zone control. I'm actually curious about what the highlights are about him. Because generally, the easiest things are to see, like the kills you get or the damage you deal, but I think he was controlling like quite a bit of zones. I don't know, he was like, you can see his positioning there on top of the elephant, not dropping down initially, sitting up there, realizing he's in the range to heal up everyone. His target focus was really good. I think Marbu had a really rough game. Yeah, definitely deserved the MVP. I would also give like a secondary MVP to Crystal, because his soldier on Sanctum was...
He was oddly invisible. Like,
well,
not in a bad way.
No, right,
For some reason, he wasn't drawing attention to him, yeah.
Yeah, he was having attention drawn to him, but most importantly, he was keeping up with the tune in terms of his visors. Yeah. And that's not easy to do against a tune who's like a hit scan hero.
He actually got the first one.
Yeah.
Crystal got the first one when we were on in Sanctum.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was ahead by like 20-30% or something along those lines.
But he constantly kept up, and even with them losing the point and having to fight their way back, did a great job. Really impressed. I was a little sad to not see him turn Go Doomfist, but I think it's not going to be something we're going to see too often anymore with the recent patch. But then again, M2-1 trying new things. We talked about them being very versatile in what they play. Not playing Mercy, which isn't necessarily versatile for them because they ran Zen Lucio so often during the OWPS season. But maybe feeling they don't necessarily need to run Mercy to win maps. And to be fair, on Shrine, they almost did win that, even without the Mercy the entire time.
I mean, there were moments where they were zoning the Mercy out, right? IDK just wasn't able to get in with that Mercy. They were camping the bodies, and we were talking about it. When the dive does come out, well, the divers are just generally sitting right on top of the bodies. And if they have to transition to another target, it's a target that's close to them anyhow. So they're going to be in that general vicinity anyhow.
You know, I wish on Mercy, with the target you res, does not have invulnerability.
I would like it if there was like, if she did reduced healing after using a res.
Well, see, I don't think it's the healing that makes it the res so frustrating.
Yeah.
It's the res, right? And the fact that you can't instantly kill them. We did see like a response to Arhan. So with like a tracer, if you post spawn directly on top of where the person who got rezzed while they're getting rezzed, you can kill them right when they come out of it. So if you timed it correctly, which I think he did to Marblue once, Marblue got killed, he post spawn on top of him. You can't outrange the post bomb unless you're like a 400 HP tank, because then it reduces damage, obviously. So yeah, there's ways to counter it, but to have to invest your ultimate into that res is a little bit frustrating for some teams.
So it's going to be Route 66 for our second map. That is MT1's pick, and this is a map where it allows them to play a lot of different compositions. If they want to go back to their Far Mercy roots, they definitely can. They have Marblue in there. He hasn't been swapped out. Or they can go for a triple tank setup, go for a Sombra setup, a lot of different things.
I wonder if we see Sombra, because MT1 was one of the teams that would like speed in to counter your Sombra, trying to hack both Megas by hacking one of them themselves on the attacking side. That's definitely like a possibility here. Of course, Roadhog going to be major for them. But both teams, this is their best game mode. You have 71% win rate for MT1, and actually 4-1 on this map in particular, where, of course, Afreeca Freecs stats will be a little bit odd since they only played 3 matches in APAC, where they're currently 2-2.
All right, we've got the 6-shooter out. It's going to be Crystal running the McCree now, swapping off into a different hit scan hero, and Attune once again on the opposite end. He's going to be challenging him with that Soldier 76, and like you had mentioned, interestingly enough, no Sombra.
I think it's starting to make sense now, because if you're going to run a Mercy, which you're like most teams are will going to be doing, is that you need an AoE healer. That's why you saw Lucio and Sombra. You need someone who can heal multiple people at the same time, and Mercy just can't fit that role. So the healing you get off the health packs is nice, and the MP is nice, but you're just a little too squishy without the Lucio there to heal.
Great shutdown coming out from the defense there. We saw Arhan opening it up with the initial pick, finding a second one, and then from the rest of AF Blue, the damage with, not AF Blue, Afreeca Freecs.
I mean, they're in blue right now.
They are
they're
in blue
wearing
right
blue.
now. Yeah.
that always got me, seeing AF Red wearing blue.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I kind of wish they had the purple jerseys. Like, because there was CLG Red and CLG Blue, right? For like CLG Red is like the female team, and then they like combined once for like some lands and stuff, and so they would play with purple. But now the battle is on the point, as the payload has made it around the bend here. It's just made it in front of Big Earls. No kills going over, but right now MT1, they're just gonna back off. Pulse Bomb not quite connecting for Unturned. He's dropped low, and they're on the hunt for him. He will fall. It's Ty Dollar to get the kill. And
you're seeing Arhan play safe. Again, he's staying as far away from Crystal as he possibly can. That post bomb on Milan was run into Crystal, which actually works out for him, because then Crystal feeds no ult % over to anyone. He's taken off the map, but Arhan, he's respecting Crystal. He's respecting the McCree, and he's playing a little bit more passive than Arhan necessarily wants to. But as long as he stays alive, that's all that matters. And look what they're running now. The Roadhog with the McCree. That's so much kill potential on their lineup that Arhan has to even play safer now because of this. And so does Attune. If they can close that gap, they can close that distance, or even tanks. Anyone they can hook in, they can kill instantly.
The info is out there. Unturned has made his presence known on this Roadhog, but it's Attune. Great Helix Rocket taking out Wreckful, forcing out the res, and now Tactical Visor. Here it comes, gets the DMEC to Milan, who had sent out that self-destruct as Crystal tries to line up a Deadeye. Won't come up with anything. He has to be careful here. Almost knocked off. He will get knocked off the ledge by that Primal Rage Jin.
That was like a Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
Like Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner. He's like trying to claw up the side of the cliff, and he can't do it. Gets knocked off. Yeah, I mean, the timing of the self-destruct from Milan, really questionable, considering they needed defenseman just to block that out, but he, most importantly, died on the resuit, or even have a chance to resuit because he was falling through the air. Transcendence can be pumped off on a Lucid, try to keep them healthy as the push has come in yet again out of MT1, and Unturned has just been unnoticeable so far on Roadhog.
Yeah, he hasn't been able to do much at all. He does get the res, but that puts Marblue into a very difficult position. He will fall to Lucid. Another hook comes out, but it doesn't matter, because it's all the damage coming out from AF at this point. MT1 not able to make much ground here.
I think this is where, you know, Vici and MVP space played, and this is like the same distance both teams got held on that second attacking phase. By the way, did you ever figure out if it what the plural put Transcendence was?
It is Transcendences.
Oh.
Yeah, just put an S at the end of it, and there we go.
I was really hoping it'd be Transcendence.
Yeah.
Transcendi.
Something, anything.
Cactuses.
But now it's coming down to the last 24 seconds for MT1, and they have not made much distance on this payload at all. That's all the ultimates in favor of AF.
They switched to triple tank. They got Rek'Vana on the Reinhardt. Milan's still sticking to the Diva. Actually, I had trouble thinking for a little bit, but they switched the Ryan most importantly, and Unturn is still looking for a single hook. I don't think he's hit anything just yet.
He's
Arhan.
got hooks, but the defense matrix has been there along with Transcendence. Now Arhan gets the first pick. Marblu is down. That means no res on the side of MT1, and there's almost no health also as they're just starting to crumble. The triple tank composition not working out for them. There's the whole hog, but Attune is going to be able to stay composed in front of that and take him out.
Yeah, I think this is going to be AF holding on strong as Arhan's going to need a fire strike to the face, but there's just no one left with MT1 alive anymore and really struggling with the defensive setup. You know, credit to Attune and Arhan. Attune was playing very slippery. There was no way to lock him down. We did have the Winston, the Diva before, but he was able to, most importantly, keep his distance away from everyone else. And there was just no way to close the gap. They didn't have a Lucia for speed. They tried, I mean, I'll give credit to MT1. I hate seeing teams when it doesn't work to continue to use that same comp without switching. But even the switches didn't do anything. Arhan played too safe. Attune did too much damage, and they had no response.
We've also noted that during OWPS, we noticed a lot of teams kind of throw away their ultimate charge just in favor of a better composition, but then ultimately it can come back to bite them as well. They spend a minute trying to build ultimate on one hero, swap off, and then have to do it again and again and again.
We saw that a lot out of MY, if I'm not mistaken. MY and MT1 were like the two teams who did that quite a bit often.
Never mind. I thought Unturned might have gone over possibly
to the
see
fist?
that Doom Fist, but
okay.
Yeah,
you,
now
you had like a frustration like arm whale there, and I couldn't tell what it was, and then
it's just my spasm.
It's
just my spasm.
That for me. I was a little concerned because if you go down, if you have problems here, that means I'm solo casting the rest of this.
Don't worry about it. It's just my Nicolas Cage spasm. There we go. Yeah. You know who you are? The Rocket Man.
To be fair, Gone in 60 Seconds was a great movie.
Yeah, but The Rock is better.
I've never seen it, actually.
You've never seen
I know Sean
The Rock?
Connery's in it, right?
Yes.
I've never seen it.
That was my best Sean. I told you yesterday.
You're terrible.
I'm terrible at impersonations.
Your Russian impression is terrible. Sean Connery was better, though. I'll give you that.
There we go. Trebek. I'm not even going to continue with that because that leads nowhere. Nowhere good at all. Arhan, possibly on the Genji for the offense for Afreeca Freecs, and Attune now switching it up.
Oh no, he went to Tracer then back to Genji. So the thing is, they don't really need to get that far anyways.
Yeah.
I'm surprised to not see like Zarya and just kind of run like the Graviton Wind kind of combo.
Graviton, Blade. But at this point, I think Arhan is just feeling really comfortable against MT1 so far, now pulling out the Genji. And there it is. Crystal is gone, forces out the res. Marblu's not going to have it for another 30 seconds.
Yeah, this is the time to go for AF. This is exactly the kind of understanding of how the res works and the timing of it. Crystal with the Helix Rocket takes Arhan down. Now IDK with no res can be a big advantage here for MT1 if they get the counter engaged. 3 minutes left to go. The payload is inching even further. No one's even contesting this, Jamerson. Finally someone gets on it, but Attune goes off.
Attune with the double kill. We even got the D-Mech allowing Tidala to come in. And with that, AF are just going to get their second map.
Take that, Tachyon. Discord.
Yeah.
I said, I'm going to say it now. He's going to go off on McCree. We didn't really get to see a lot of it, but he did. He did. So take that, Tachyon in Discord.
I mean, at this point, I think he has a 20 eliminations per 10, or 20 kills per 10 minutes.
He's up there. He's getting there. He popped off on McCree. Can't doubt
just
that.
Making up stats here. Please don't fact check.
There's someone out there, right?
Yeah.
That's watching it back and recording it with like paper
Is that a
and pen.
subreddit? Like
Maybe.
Overwatch fact checkers.
Yeah, and then they're just writing it down. He's like, oh, Jamerson's wrong. It was 19. Oh, this guy, I'm going to burn him good. But no, AF, strong start. Looking really good. Again, they knew when to dive. Arhan getting, I want to say lucky with the shurikens on Crystal, because he hit like a double headshot, and then there was, it must have been a shot from Attune at the same time to just drop him instantly.
Yeah.
And then they're able to force the res out and force the engage.
That's always been one of the things about Arhan on his Genji, that he can build up these blades. His shuriken accuracy is nuts, and he gets these blades, and that's where he kind of falters. Where it's hit or miss with his Dragon Blades, whether or not he's going to get something great. But we're moving on to map number 3 to see if AF can close this out up against MT1 after this break.
实属于王者。你知道我是谁？我上了，准备好。乖乖躺着别动。50个，又少了一个。毁天灭地，还没受够。
他们来了！
回来的感觉真好。
T1이라는 팀이 이제 중국에서 기적을 만드는 팀이라고 들었는데 경기하는 거 보니까 저희 팀 상대는 아마 어림도 없을 것 같습니다. 이번에 꼭 우승하겠습니다.
他们有接近1个多月没有打比赛了，所以说我们对他们的资料不是特别多，只能说我们在练新的东西，然后去战胜他吧。因为我们队名就是代表奇迹，我觉得我们能影响他们。
So you heard it there right after the break. Miracle Team 1 are going to look for a miracle up against this man. Atune has been doing a great job being that hit scan anchor for Afreeca Freecs.
They're going to need a miracle, Jameson.
Yeah.
They're going to need it. 2-0 so far, and that was the quickest. This is the quickest matches we've had over the course of yesterday and today. Well, obviously it's the first match today, so
yeah,
I count that.
Route 66 getting full held on first, and then of course just losing that first team fight out. They just weren't able to find anything, and Afreeca Freecs, they look like a well-oiled machine right now. We saw Unturned, he swapped off onto that Roadhog, and there was a moment where he got a hook onto Atune, but the rest of his team was there covering for him.
Well, you saw like in that first clip how far he was sitting back, how much distance he gave himself away from his team and away from anyone that could dive him, and it's really hard to close that gap. And against a player of this caliber on a soldier, like Wince is not going to kill him, and without D.Va having that long defense matrix, you're not going to kill him. He's going to eventually like kill one of you or both of you, if anything. So we need to see some sort of response out of MT1 here to deal with that. And one thing I was noticing in that clip, and I noticed it during the game that I wanted to talk about, is that it feels almost useless or more of a detriment for Roadhog to ever whole hog anymore, because the whole power of him is the fact you can hook someone, right? But it's if you ever overextend, you can get away with your take a breather because of the damage reduction. But when you're ulting, you can't do that. You can't stop yourself.
No, with the new Hog, with the damage reduction on his junk gun, you need to rely upon, everyone else to contribute into that damage. But, I mean, still, even though the defense matrix got nerfed, we saw that they were able to throw it onto members like a Toon and such. It got altered.
Got changed.
Yeah. But there was great coverage coming out from AF Blue. They are working together. They are just, the communication is definitely there. You can tell. They know when they can really push the limits. We're seeing that IDK on the Mercy has not really put himself into too many vulnerable positions either. He knows what he's doing on this Mercy. Yeah,
and he's playing safe, most importantly. And I think from what we've seen out of AF and like the depth of their pools across everyone on the team, like seeing with Jin, 4800 playing DPS. Tidala, we know can play DPS. Arhan and Atun are playing DPS currently. I think they have a lot of versatility when it comes to maybe changing things later on. I think this could actually be with the roster they have now. Give them some more time, even with them already 2-0ing MT1. They could easily be a top team again.
And we saw in that interview, one of the members of MT1 had noted that, well, they got knocked out in the group stages of Season 4 so early that there's no information about them whatsoever.
He said like a month since the last
It's been about a
matches.
month. And how do you prep for a team that hasn't, been in the limelight for the last month? While MT1, they had to play a 12-team round robin. They had to play in 2 separate playoffs just to get here. There's so much tape on them.
That's what kind of blows my mind about MT1 is the fact that they weren't scared of doing like the 5 tanks or scared of doing anything different. And yet, I thought this time they would have had since the grand finals of 2 weeks. I mean, yeah, 2 weeks isn't a lot of time, but the 2 weeks they have had, they would have done something a little bit different, like not go back to what they've done, maybe switch things up a little bit. Obviously not running Doomfist, so it's not what they've normally done, but I want to see something else. I want to see a new adaptation because we talked about as them being the most adaptable team in China, but they haven't shown it yet.
Well, after a while, you kind of just end up running out of space in your playbook at that point, right?
You know what? You add pages, you add a big section for Symmetra in there, for attack Symmetra, and you make it work. Attack Torb. I want to see Bastion Orisa.
Orisa.
Like Bastion, Orisa, Rhine, or just Bastion Orisa, or Torbjorn Orisa. It's still really hard to deal with when a lot of teams are running like Tracers and Genjis, or even like Tracer Soldier. There's not enough poke to kill the Orisa shield in time before you can get it back down again.
Yeah.
So you need like a Roadhog, a Reaper, or a Junkrat, or maybe even a Pharah to help assist that. Going into, I think it's Assault next, there's a good possibility we could see that. We could see some Orisa depending on what map. And
yeah, maybe if we go to Horizon, we go to point A, we got the Torb Orisa on point A there. It doesn't transition as well over to B, but it could still work.
I just wondered if like Torbjorn is attracted to Orisa since she's a robot.
He doesn't like Omnix.
He doesn't like Omnix?
Yeah, right?
But he makes a turret.
The turret's not Omnic, though.
No, but it's a robot, and Omnix and robots are like close.
Yeah, but the Omnics also have like artificial
to
intelligence.
Be fair, the turret basically has artificial intelligence because how quickly that snaps to me whenever I am on the map, whenever I corner peek or jiggle peek, it instantly hits me. That thing's definitely smart. How wicked smart.
I mean, that's why that's why you play your Reinhardt and hold up your shield, Jason. Right mouse button, all the way forward.
I went head-to-head against Christopher on the UK Overwatch World Cup team and Cruz on his team in ranked. Beat them, okay?
Have you watched their streams when they do their 6 stacks?
I watched.
It's some of the best banter.
Cruz was UK banter is the best banter.
Yeah, it really is.
Cruz was so tilted watching me do that because I watched the stream back to like see like how I did, and he got so mad. He's like, "Is JCap really beating us?" Of course, in his like British accent. I'm just thinking to myself like, "Yeah."
That's a better impression than I do of British.
You what,
accents.
mate? That's already hands down better than Russian for you.
But we do have a swap off. It's going to be Yuan Feng coming in for MT1. He has generally been, throughout the regular season of OWPS, their primary flex support.
He's easily top 3. He's up there with Shy from LGD. He's up there with Zhu Fenjun. I think he's actually better than Zhu Fenjun.
Really?
Fair. He's easily top 3 in China. And we're going to see why now. And when you're going up against someone like Lucid, which we already heard from Fastest before from Envision, you need a good Zen player, you need a good flex player to really make this work. And also, he could run the Sombra if they want to go that route too.
He could run the Sombra, and they could go ahead and swap PP off from the Lucio onto the Mercy, make that work out for him.
See,
having him on the Zen wasn't as great.
I would have been fine taking PP out, actually.
Yeah?
PP was a good Lucio, but we never really saw much of his Zen. And then putting Yuan Feng in as the Zen and leaving Marbleu as the Mercy, I thought that would have been fine. That's what I kind of like expected coming into this.
But it allows them to go back onto the Lucio if they need it. We saw...
Jamerson, are you saying playing Lucio is really hard? You have to have a Lucio specialist?
There's a difference between a really good Lucio and a passable
there
Lucio.
There is our Lucios and DSP
Yeah.
Stanky's Lucios.
Yeah.
But my question is, who's the one calling them? Because that means with PP gone, he was like the primary caller.
Well,
so
you
now
know,
Yuan Fong has
generally
to take that
the
over.
Lucios are the more macro, like,
Because
keep
you
track
have
of all the
you have
ultimates.
the ability to do that.
Yeah. But it's going to be, Temple of Anubis for our third map here. We'll see if MT1 find that miracle that they really need up against AF. I mean, the best they can do at this point is draw out this match and then hope that their next 2 matches go better. But AF sitting on the cusp of getting their first victory here in the group stage, and this is their doubleheader day.
Yeah, they need to come up big, just like we saw Flash Rules do. MT1, I think it's a smart pick by them. Certain AF have 0 wins on the map, or 0-2. But then again, I mean, 0-2 is not going to mean a lot with how one-sided this match has been so far.
Yes. Now we are loaded onto Anubis. Our first assault map of the
do
day.
That for me. You can't do voice impressions of like accent. That's not bad. That's not bad.
I was just actually reading it off the side there. And
you gotta sound like more angry. Yeah, you never played World of Warcraft. That's right. You're the guy that never played.
But there we go. We've got Crystal on the Widowmaker, forcing back the sight line. They have
a big advantage for MT1.
Does have to be careful. Arhan is right there to be able to taxi everyone back in.
They all grouped up as well, make sure they don't get picked off. So they're going to go for a retake on the point. Crystal has to switch over from to Genji from the Widowmaker.
Tydala about to get D-Magged. He's getting close to that self-destruct. He does have it, but he's not going to be able to pop it off. He will fall to Wreckful. 2 kills going on over as IDK was the first to go down. Now we do have the Primal Rage being used by Jin here to stall out just a bit, but gonna make it over to this Mega, and it looks like the Freecs are gonna give up point A.
You know, I'm really excited to see that a lot of like big DPS players are being switched over to tanks. Because we had Tydala, DPS switching to tank.
Yeah.
We've seen Jin's stats, he's mostly like a DPS player to tank. Trill on Blank, DPS player originally, switched to tank.
Well, also like DPS, we had the trend before of DPS players going over to support, to the flex support.
Yeah, that. Seen Hacksaw on Runaway go to Lucio, just something about that just didn't feel right to me, you know?
I mean, before they had him go over to the Winston for a little while, remember? There was that. A lot of Genjis actually going over to Winston. Self-destruct was committed here by Milanlon as MT1. They've got 5 minutes and 45 seconds, but they need to find a pick here on Anubis.
Yeah, with no Sombra, though, anymore. That was actually a really good kill for Lucio. And keep in mind, we are on the live patch, which means Crystal lost the entirety of his blade there. Won't have a chance to have another one up to sneak it out. They're still actually fine out on this one. I was surprised. I was expecting them to lose this fight and kind of have to come back in. They haven't gotten a take just yet, though.
Attune is going to get that res from IDK. Here is the blade for Arhan. He's getting focused down, and he'll be able to find that pick onto PP. But with that, the dash resets just too strong coming out from this Genji Arhan with a 4K.
Something I love about Arhan's Genji, which we did see at APAC last year, he has a really good understanding and like a really good mastery of his dashes.
Yeah.
Not just the distance, but most importantly the short distances, not the long ones. The ability to dash into the ground at the right time and at the right angle, so he doesn't overextend way past his target because he wants to get obviously the right click and the melee off during that. So it's really well done out of him. We're going to see a big switch up, more of a Death Volley kind of composition. I was kind of hoping for a Reinhardt. But Attune, waiting towards spawn, spots us out and switches to Pharah.
Switching off to Pharah because he spots out the Doomfist and the Reaper. No one there on the ground to really deal with him. And so...
Wait, what? No Mercy either.
Oh, no Mercy!
I was expecting, like, PP to pick up Mercy.
No, he goes for that Lucio. He just wants the AoE heals on the point. Now, they're going to be playing without a res, but will that be enough for them? The self-destruct does come out, but Tydala not able to get the remake. Attune starts it off. He goes in for the punch, but he doesn't find anything. That's just aired. But now he almost brings out that Winston. Self-destruct takes out Attune. He's forced to get that res off by IDK.
Oh, he's showing the master of Doomfist too, because he went for the Mercy or the Pharah that he almost connected onto it. The res going to come back in. Crystal has been dropped. Unturned has a meter strike. He's going to go directly for Lucid. Gets the kill. But keep in mind, they're down and man. Crystal switching back to McCree or over to McCree. So it looks like the rest of them are going to retreat and back away. Tydala has been desuited. I don't know how much percent he had on his self-destruct, but he could go back to spawn here and just switch back into Diva.
Ultimately, that was a pretty successful push. They were able to get 2 ticks off of that, unturned. He did have to use that Meteor Strike, but we saw how quickly that he can build it up. He's going to have another one in this next fight. Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, he did a lot of damage to Jin too in his Primal Rage form. They have moved up the left-hand side. The speed and the AoE healing at PP is going to be very strong here as they're going to look to jump in. Again, Unturned to be the man to watch Crystal. It's going to actually pretty much be uninterrupted towards the backhand side. but that barrage will immediately shut down this push.
Yeah, Crystal was able to get the D-Mech onto Ty Dalla, but that's about it for them. And so Ty Dalla will get his mech back for the next push. There's 3 minutes now left on the clock for MT1, who are sitting at 71.7%.
Gotta be careful here. I don't know how much AF has played against Doomfist. I know, one fact from MVP Space, Crown is one of the best Doomfists in Korea because he's one of the few people playing Doomfist at the time in Korea. But we know China is all about Doomfist.
Yeah,
more than any other region in the world.
Our top 3-4 teams all just played Doomfist. LGD, MT1, Vici Gaming, along with MY.
I mean, even 1246 as well.
Yeah, 1246. So our top 5 teams from the OWPS.
Jin's going to come in from the backside, looking to harass them. They're all grouped up too. He's going to do so much damage. He's down to about 10 HP, pops the Primal Rage, and the Blade going to come in, but the Blade's not going to do. Oh my gosh, he burst Crystal down in the midst of that during the Deadeye.
Yeah, and with the secondary kill, a third as Unturned falls. All they get is going to be Arhan, who, you know what, damage done on that Genji. It was great how they funneled them in there. They saw their opportunity, right? I think Jin panicking and having to use that Primal Rage really did create that chaos for Arhan to get in with the Blade.
So we saw Toon earlier on switch when he saw the Reaper and the Doomfist. Will he switch again at 70% on his ultimate?
Well, Arhan is now
so he switches. Oh, wow. Okay, so Arhan, see, this is the flexibility within the team because Toon played a lot of Pharah, though he's not really well known for it, but so could Arhan. So just switching out whoever was closer or whoever had the least amount of ult percent built up, since Arhan just used his Blade. Very smart play to them. And Crystal being dropped by Lucid.
We've talked about this man before. It's Lucid on that Zenyatta. They will find the Orb of Destruction, taking out Crystal.
Unturned, that's the second time I've seen him get high ground to try to catch the Pharah in the air.
Yeah.
He almost caught Arhan too, to be fair.
Get the anti-air really against him.
Yeah.
Yeah. But now, they're starting to run out of time.
To be fair, during OWPS, we learned that Fist is better than Blade.
I don't even remember that. I don't remember how that rock, paper,
scissors. It's better
scissors.
than Blade, so maybe Fist is better than Wings. He's trying to prove it.
There's no foot on the side of MT1 as Yuan Fang has swapped off onto the Ana now.
So no one realized what we're talking about probably out there. It was Zenyatta, by the way.
Yeah, Zenyatta. There we go, Arhan. He's still on this Pharah. He's got the barrage to work with, and MT1 continue to make this approach into the catacombs here. He has to be careful. There it is, the barrage forced out. Crystal goes down. They have the res. Arhan brought right back into this. Gives his life for that play, but hey, Unturned. He forces out the Transcendence from Lucid.
Hey, Arhan actually got the kill on a PP too in the midst of that, even before he killed himself. He's even switching to Bastion here. Is he going to stick with the Bastion?
I think it's a good pick. You know, they're forced to send in their Primal Rage Winston first.
No. The power of Bastion comes from when there's like a big skirmish and you're able to switch to it without anyone noticing, but there was no way they were not going to see that. Crystal switched to so many different heroes now. He's going to be with Widow to Genji to McCree to Reaper to McCree to Genji again. He's being forced to switch so often that he's not really getting a lot of these ultimates up, and it's a lot of pressure going his way.
Self-destruct coming on out as MT1 make that same approach once again. Wreckful was in the back line. He was the recipient of that nano boost. The self-destruct, excuse me, the sound barrier comes out. IDK is going to use that res to bring back Arhan. It's AF's Jin that comes in, taking out Yuan Fang. It's real back and forth affair, but remember, it's the res advantage on the side of Afreeca Freecs as Crystal trying his best to get this back into their favor, but no, Toon is there with that Tracer taking out Unturned.
They did get about 2/3 though, 82% built up. They're not going to eventually take this point as they're still able to get another couple percent built in there. Crystal with the Blade looking to do something about this though. In overtime, it's longer respawns, gets the kill, gets a double. Will be shut down by Lucid. And it's just pretty much on Wreckful here to hold on.
One more slash could have gone Lucid, but he did ultimately get cleaned up as Yuan Fang now has swapped off onto Tracer. He falls, but now here's the Meteor Strike. Never mind. It's Unturned had swapped off on Soldier 76, but yeah, 88.2%.
I think it's doable. It's definitely possible. I think it's mostly. I think AF's easier to get the first point. I mean, most teams, except I think it was Vici yesterday, didn't get first point on Temple.
Yeah.
You're going to lose that one. It's just about stalling as long as you possibly can. But the second point is definitely defensible. And you saw the way AF did it there. It wasn't about letting MT1 ever engage the way they wanted to. They actually forced the fight so many times. Every single opportunity MT1 had to go left-hand side into the caves, they attacked right away. They pounced on top before they even fully got in.
And you saw how reactive that AF were also in terms of their compositions.
Oh yeah,
both Toon and Arhan just swapping off. They were just waiting in spawn, pressed that H button. They saw that once they pressed tab, well, yeah, they've swapped off onto Doomfist and Reaper. So we're going to go ahead and pull out Afreeca. Once they swap off from that, we're gonna bring back a Tracer. It was great play.
I love
great
seeing
read
teams
coming
do
out
that.
from Freecs.
I hate seeing teams like not being willing to adapt and switch
Not
when
pressing
it's
tab.
like really obvious.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of perception around ultimates being extremely strong, which they are. I'm not denying that at all. But sometimes just playing a hard counter is even stronger than a good ultimate.
And now it's Afreeca Freecs. This is their opportunity to go ahead and get the victory against MT1. MT1, though, they're already sitting on a defensive posture here on Anubis, and this is going to be a really tough task for them. I mean, they started off, you know, they got point A with what? About 2.5 minutes remaining, so they had 6.5 minutes pushing into B, but it was just great play coming out from Afreeca.
And more importantly is, if they lose this map, they lose the series overall. And obviously map wins is going to be a big part of it when it comes into seeing who the top 2 teams are going to be. But match wins are the first check to see if you get through into next week. And MT1 need to put on a good defense here. Running dive, PP going to be on the Mercy, Wanfang back going to be on Zenyatta. But Toon on Widow, I think this is going to be, it has the potential to be pretty crazy.
Yeah, both teams playing the opening here pretty much as expected. Just expecting the Widowmaker to come out as Crystal, taking out Lucid here. But they do have the res, so they're going to continue to push forward here. Arhan not able to find anything quite yet on this Genji, not able to build up much in terms of ultimate either. It's Tidala that gets demeched and finished off by Crystal, and so they're going to have to wait.
All right, good engagement. Crystal's going to take down a Toon too. So I mean, MT1, once they realize they got that kill, that should be the moment to like dive, right? To just force the fight, because you have a res advantage over them. You're going to get one person back alive. The person who died is most likely going to be out of position. And so far, a pretty good start here. Crystal's going to have Blade soon on turn, going to have his pulse bomb. And Atoon's been forced to switch over to Tracer now without any sort of pulse bomb.
It's okay. He's got 3 minutes, right? They're still in the opening stages here of Anubis, really. Crystal has got to be careful. He's receiving a few orbs to the face, and now he's being set on by that Winston. He will be able to make it out. No, Arhan cuts him off. Crystal goes down. Will PP be able to get in here for this res?
I don't know. He's had to put himself in a really awkward position. You can see him just dancing around. He has his Valkyrie up, and it's going to be needed. IDK's about to have his 2. Arhan going to be using the Blade, gets shut down by Wanfang and the Transcendence, but the res going to be back in there.
And yeah, both Valkyries out now. PP with the movement speed here, able to keep himself alive. So we do have Rekball coming in. He's on that Winston. That's his 2nd kill so far. Double res now as they fight into this 6v5. There is a self-destruct on the field.
Crystal with his Blade now looking for some kills. Pulse Bomb has been thrown out, but it looks like it didn't catch on to anything. I think Malonlon actually ate the one if I'm not mistaken, but Unturn has fallen to Lucid, trying to dive in towards the backhand side. So turn their attention over towards Tidala, who will be desuited, but not killed.
Yeah, it looks like they just weren't able to change their targets quickly enough. Crystal will go down once again to Arhan, who has been getting the better of these Genji battles, and with that, AF, they're going to be able to secure point A and move on to B.
Envision told me during their scrims against AF that whenever they saw Arhan on Genji, they would always be scared because he always has the potential to get a 6K.
Yeah.
He's that explosive on his Genji. He's really aware of where everyone is and is able to get those resets. Just haven't had a team, I think, that really supports him on his Genji like we see some teams do, like for instance, like Shadowburn for FaZe.
Lucid opening it up, Unturned goes down. He had that pulse bomb now. The defense, they're gonna have to use that res early, and PP is so far away from that Valkyrie form. He's actually gonna fall, and now they're gonna push forward with the man advantage. They are on the point, about to secure the first tick. Self-destruct does just try and delay this on outs, but is it gonna be enough? Unturned once again goes down. So much burst damage coming out from Arhan.
They don't have Transcendence. Wanfang's gonna get killed over towards spawn. PP's about to fall as well. They have no sound barrier. They have no defensive ultimates, no offensive, no ultimates to be seen. 85% and counting here for AF, and they will close that out, picking up the 3rd map and securing the victory here in this series. Really well done, and they still do not look like they've been pushed at all so far today in this matchup.
No, you saw there towards the end, we had the player cams, and they looked absolutely comfortable.
Yeah.
Like nothing had happened at all. Like nothing at all. Like nothing at all.
Like what?
Like nothing at all.
Yeah. It just seems like this is like another ranked game for them.
Stupid, sexy Arhan there with that Genji. So he had a great performance, you know?
Yeah.
As much as, you know, people want to meme about Arhan, like you had mentioned in Vision, they have to worry about the ability of Arhan to go off on that Genji. I mean, it looks like he's getting the proper support from the rest of his team. We saw moments MT1 tried his best, Wreckful on the Winston to try and focus him down, but he has that res, he has the secondary opportunity to come back right back into this fight.
That's what sucks about being Wreckful here if you're playing Winston, is that there's so many targets you need to kill. IDK on the Mercy, I don't know, I forgot her name. Lucid on the Zenyatta, and then of course Arhan on the Genji, and he's supposed to deal with like 2 out of those 3 types.
All right, so we'll have map number 4, the conclusion of this match after the break. Guys, don't go anywhere.
你们等了1年，这我知道，我可不会轻易死掉，你也别被吓跑。午夜降临古堡，狂风无情呼号，我弗兰狂斯鼠博士也在等你们来到。去年你们玩得很嗨，彻底打败了我的小乖乖。 可我也学得很快哦，有更多的惊喜等你们到来，
真可怕！
来吧，亲爱的英雄们，不管是新朋友还是老对手，我的仆从准保会让你们大吃一惊。想不想躲在墙角瑟瑟发抖？喽啰们，战斗，战斗，直到黑夜的尽头！
Talk.
Those twins?
I like how they muted our mics because they're like, these guys keep talking when we're not ready for them to talk. Yes, Jamerson, I think those were twins. We're in the same outfit. They're twinsies. I'm a little. Can we get matching outfits?
I've been asking you this for like 6 weeks.
We were going to do that for the finals.
Yeah.
Of OWPS. We never did it.
Never did it.
We were matching underwear. That's close enough.
No, we just share the same pair.
No. you get the inside one day, I flip it inside out, and wear it the next day. Arhan's your MVP from that last map, and why not? This Mound's Genji was insane. And of course, he was willing to switch to Pharah and did really well with it too.
Yeah, I'm expecting a lot more Arhan PogChamps instead of Eska Lol. Oh, excuse me, Arhan Lols there. I live in Twitch chat way too much.
Well, the thing is, it's funny that you mentioned Eska because we were doing rehearsals when we came here on the 18th. Every graphic said Eska.
Was Eska.
And then every like roster graphic was Rouge Hong.
Yeah.
So that's why we have Eska on the mind. But there's the man Arhan on the screen, returning for a second time here at APAC and trying to show, or trying to, I think, win. Most important, obviously you want to win, right? But the redemption factor for him, because that's where Lunatic High really started to take off, in my opinion. He might be a little bit different in your choice of that, because you cast Lunatic High before APAC happened.
There was
but I think that was their big takeoff point when we got to see some really good play out of everyone on the team back then.
There was a huge learning curve for Lunatic High to reach, you know, the peak, the pinnacle of like Season 3, Season 2 Lunatic High. And so it was a long time coming, but AF, it's been one of those teams, right? They've been a team since, I want to say, July of last year. They were announced at the KT Giga Legends. It was AF Red and AF Blue. Arhan was on AF Blue this entire time, and he just hasn't been able to find the success that a lot of people were expecting out of the Afreeca Freecs.
Always the bridesmaid, never the bride, maybe, for them. They'd never been like seen as the pinnacle of Overwatch in Korea.
Even then, they were like the bridesmaid that was all the way on the left, right? All the way outside, yeah.
I was like, wait, right, left? No, you're right.
Is it? I just made that
the
up.
Bride's on the left.
I'm good.
If you're looking at like a wedding, the bride's always here, and the bride's over here for you guys.
I've only been to about like 3 weddings in my adult life, so I'm not entirely too sure. And one of them was my sister's. Might go to one in December.
Didn't know that. Me too. Are we going to the same wedding?
Are we going to the same wedding?
Wait,
I'm going to Korea.
December 16th? Oh, I'm going to New York.
Oh, December 17th.
Oh, man,
yeah.
See? It's my cousin, actually, who's Chinese.
My cousin who's Korean.
Please say white. Oh, that would have been perfect.
I know.
That would have been great. I don't know why the hell I would think that.
2 peas in a pod, you and I. Yeah, we're going to be moving on to map number 4.
2 corns on a cob.
2 corns on a cob. 2 kernels. It's a kernel.
Oh, yeah,
corn.
that's right.
Yeah.
Well, we learned yesterday I didn't know what genocide was, so.
Yeah. I'm not touching that one, though.
Yeah, let's not touch that one. We're moving on to the next map. I think we're having a sub again. I think Yuan Fong's coming out, and I think Marblu's coming back in.
Marblu is indeed back in. And you know what? I wasn't... PP's Mercy himself, it wasn't bad at all. It really wasn't.
It might be merciest to say, it's a thing, look it up, that you shouldn't necessarily need even a Mercy specialist now. Like, for instance, like, I think a Zen specialist is way different because you have more killing potential than a Mercy specialist. Whereas Mercy, it's more about positioning than, like, DPSing kind of thing. And as a Zen, you need to know, like, when to be aggressive, when to be passive, when to peek, when not to peek. I mean, I guess you could say the same for Mercy, but I feel like the learning curve or like the skill ceiling of being in your positioning is way different for Mercy versus Zen, because Zen doesn't have that escape.
Yeah, he doesn't. I mean,
it might be Merciest to that, or do you agree?
It's the get out of free card,
the Guardian Angel.
Valkyrie now at this point, and the movement speed that you get off of it, it's nuts.
Yeah.
And then of course you got the no clip where you just hold space and all of a sudden you're at the ceiling of the map.
So I used to do that actually every server I went into back in the day. Different game, would type that in console to make sure
flip all the time.
to see if, because people would be rude and would actually play scrim with cheats on, and you wouldn't know unless you typed in certain commands.
What's the point of that? Scrimming with cheats on?
I did it once. It was fun.
Okay.
Well, not like they were hacking, but on the server you could like you turn SV cheats on, which meant you could like no clip, or you could see where people were through walls, but not in a cheating way.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was good times. Anyways, back to this Overwatch. We don't know what the map is going to be yet, but it will be hybrid.
Hybrid.
Okay, we do know the map. Wow, this is actually a really popular map so far in APAC.
Well, I mean, it's just one of those maps, right? You always go back to every time there's a new patch. It's the staple. It's always been there. It's always been there.
I think I know what you wanted to say there.
Yeah.
Okay, no, maybe not. I don't know. You're looking at me like you probably didn't. Like the Dust 2.
I didn't
the Dust
even
2
know.
Overwatch.
I didn't even know what I was going to say, honestly.
So the Dust Bowl with TF2.
Oh, yeah.
It's like the map that everyone knows, even if you don't really play the game. But King's Row, like you said, will be it. I think there's potential for some Widow again here today.
Maybe
but this is where we saw
Penta take?
Exactly. This is where we saw the Penta take. So I think, I don't know, we saw it on Reddit like right away when it happened.
It was quick.
I'm assuming AF did their research when it comes to this map too.
Well, this is where, you know, they can rely a bit more on Unturned's Roadhog. You could definitely pull that out for them. Just play the bit more Parblue style where they live and die by him. He tries to get a pick, and if he doesn't, you know, back to the drawing board.
You actually, that's like the perfect way to describe Harblue though. Like live or die, he tries to make something happen.
Yeah.
And that's what, he's so lovable. You ever met Harblue?
Yeah, of course.
He's a great guy.
Yeah, I met him at Agents Rising over a year ago at the first
He
LAN.
has like no joints or whatever it is. He's like double jointed in like his fingers and his shoulders and grosses me out.
Now, Unturned. We do have...
Wait, Malamon on Roadhog.
Oh, triple tank coming out, and so they do have the Space Dragon composition as Crystal is on that Zarya. Unturned getting focused down. He's going to be able to climb the walls here to stay alive, but not the rest of his team, not his supports as they fall. But that's a great mid-air shot, taking out the Winston Jin. Instantly res back into this.
Oh, I think he was looking for, I think that was Mercy on top of the statue. It looks like he won't be able to hit any more shots at the moment. Does be able to see quite a few people though. By the way, can you call it Leviathan for me? Because that's like what a space dragon or like space flying creature is.
Is it?
Yeah, Leviathans.
I'm gonna have to question you on that one. We'll
look it
fact
up
check
later.
that one. But,
Overwatch fact checkers, get on that.
Yeah. Rekful got the frag onto Jin. That allows him to get onto the point. Great scouting arrow there. Try and spot out this Tracer, and he connects. Unturned takes out a Tune. And so they have a huge man advantage. The point is being contested right before they secure their second tick.
This guy's been watching Raksu apparently on Twitch. I should start watching him quite a bit. It's pretty funny. He's a good guy. They're going to cap the point though, and that was a relatively easy tank. Again, it's like the 2-2-2, the dive comp that AF are using. It's really kind of hard to dive into this when you have such beefy targets to deal with. And you have PP playing on, and most importantly, to make this composition work. That's where we saw the triple tank really get started, was with the release of Ana and people figuring out how Ana was played. You do so much healing. And not to mention, when you pop the Valkyrie and you bio-grenade your team, no one's dying through that. I feel like just you can't.
Now this is the scary part for the Freecs. They have to deal with the Space Dragon. They have to deal with this Earth Shatter, and both support ultimates are up for MT1. There we go. They're gonna go ahead and use that Graviton Surge. There is the Dragon coming out. 2 kills go on over for them as IDK has fallen also, so there's gonna be no res on the field for the Freecs. And there was great discipline coming out from MT1. They knew they got a great grab. They only sent in the Dragon, and they still have 4 ultimates up.
That was really ballsy by Crystal too, because Tidala was like right there. He could have eaten it the entire time, but he just plays outstanding there, plays really aggressive, catches it. There will be a second chance though for AF to contest the point. We do see a Toon switch into Pharah too, so trying to make it so he's not really able to be killed easily when there's no hit scan to deal with him. But Unturned has already shown us he can hit things in the air.
Yeah. But here's the thing, right? This composition coming out from AF, it's very hard to execute with this composition. Take a look. We've got the scatter shot coming out. Arhan falls, whole hog, nano boosted. Malanlon just not able to connect that hook, but there is the Earth Shatter. It's all MT1.
They are just rolling it completely over them. They haven't dealt with Arhan Artun in the air just yet, as finally Malanlon's going to connect a hook here. I did not know that Unturned, with everything he's played so far, that he's also a mathematician. Because that geometry has been ridiculous. I mean, with a blading Genji coming at you, it can be very frustrating, but he hits the perfect shot with it and takes him down and gives him an opportunity to continue to push this payload further.
Yeah, he's got another Dragon up too, and he's had it for quite some time now. 4 minutes and 45 seconds as we go into the Foundry portion of King's Row here. This is, of course, MT1's pick, and they're looking great. And it hook came out. They're not able to get the follow-up kill. There is the self-destruct. Will he give his body for the play? It's Unturned who falls.
I think that was a Conquest knocking him out of position away from the shield of his Reinhardt of Rekful. And they're going to shove this one forward. I do like the Reaper pick, by the way.
It's great.
One thing that, you know, makes Zarya so strong is her ability to live, her ability to survive, because she only gets stronger with time when you can build up energy. And Ana does facilitate that really well. Graviton Surge coming out really early on.
There is the Dragon. Tidala gets demech'd also. He will survive that combo up until Crystal coming in, playing the cleanup for them. Now they push forward.
Look at that energy, too. He's like going to be really hard to deal with, and that's why the Reaper's picked up, because since Zarya gets stronger over time, you need something that can burst her down really quickly. That's exactly what Reaper can do. Arhan's going to come in, take down Marblue. So at least get 1 kill off of that, but he's sent back to spawn packing.
Now 3 minutes and 45 seconds as they're getting this final stretch now here on King's Row. They do have to deal with the Winston in the back line. He's going to be forced back using that jump. Right now, 45%. He's so charged from Crystal. Now he is dropping a little bit low, but still, he's going to be able to build that back up. So we do have the res, bringing Unturned back into this.
Jin's going to get a kill in a Rekful, though. And we'll get Marblue with the res. That's going to be Arhan charging forward. Malana just knocks him away and knocks him out almost. Again, we talked about the whole hog. It seems to be more of a detriment than a positive for you. You can't escape the self-destruct. You don't have the damage reduction in Crystal, or at 80% on his next Graviton.
kind of cartoonish there. You see the Hawk trying to like go behind the Reinhardt shield, but he's so slow.
By the way, what can't Unturned play? He's not a Widowmaker. We haven't seen him play Widow, I think, the entirety of OWPS.
We haven't.
I don't remember him ever playing that.
I want to say it was Crystal that was mostly the Widowmaker.
Crystal did earlier on today.
Yeah.
So, and Milan switching Pharah.
So they want to deal with the opposing Pharah in a tune, but it's Arhan in the back line. He's low. He's going to get body blocked away. He tries to Shadow Step, but he's not going to be able to make it to safety. He falls, and now it's a 6v5 in favor of MT1. And so this is where they put themselves in a great power seat. They are going to go over the top of Tune with the barrage. He gets the kill onto Reckful, but Marblue is still there. He's going to be able to res him back into this.
Where's the follow-up on the grab? There was nothing there. The Transcendence was used actually by Lucy to keep them alive, and Unturned gets dropped in the air out of a Tune, who charges forward and picks up kills. And AF will stop the rot here and continue to hold on to this third and final point.
We're seeing teams really struggle once we get into the third portion here in the Foundry stage of King's Row. Crystal now swapping over to that Widowmaker as Unturned goes over to the Roadhog once again.
Milan going to have Barrage, so it comes down to a Tune versus him in the air.
Oh, Arhan in the back line.
I don't know why you barraged that,
Blossom.
I don't know why you barraged that, though. You lost your double supporters. There's no chance for res. He's going to be switching, I think, off far over to D.Va most likely now. That has to be the reasoning behind using Barrage there.
What is Milanlan going to go on to, though, at this point?
Okay,
back to Zarya. But the thing is, Milanlan Zarya, not the greatest. That's why we saw Crystal on it earlier. Milanlan traditionally doesn't have the greatest Zarya. He takes forever to build up his ultimate. Right, and he doesn't have the best shields.
Yeah, I remember this. I remember talking about that during OWPS. He actually overextends quite a bit too, not knowing the limits of Zarya. But this is also the team MT1 who played 18 different heroes on King's Row.
That's right.
Or he's like,
they're actually about, I think they're about to hit 18 heroes soon.
Torbjorn on defense is coming, I'm telling you, boys.
Oh,
they're pushing past AF though. AF got really aggressive, and the Barrage is going to be coming in out of a Tune over the top. Does pick up one kill, and one kill's all you really need to really help this push. They forced the Valkyrie, what's the point at a Marblue now?
After that double res, though, the Freecs a Tune, able to pick up 2 more kills there. Going to force them back, and now it's coming down to the wire. 40 seconds left for MT1, who had started off so strong here on King's Row, but really running into the stumbling blocks up against Afreeca Freecs.
Oh, this is going to be good. Crystal actually spots them all moving around behind. I'd love to see those shots get hit, actually. But they're running out of time. Unturned's fallen. I'm not sure how he actually fell when he knew the direction they were coming from. But look at AF. There's no one even like there to block the payload. The payload's being pushed. Someone is on the payload, shoving it forward while AF is just ignoring this.
Yeah, we have
it's
the
still moving.
Out. There is the nano boost onto Reckful, but a lot of it's going to fizzle away. Here is the self-destruct coming out on the side of AF. Will it catch out onto anyone? No. Tydala falls, instantly gets the res. Marblue brings PP back into this. It's going to be a 4v6 fight in favor of AF Blue as we are in overtime. There it is. The barrage comes out once again from a Tune who largely has gone uncontested in the skies.
No K9 today happening. Unfortunate on King's Row.
No D8s.
D8s?
I don't know. I'm just making
C9.
I know.
K9. Korea 9, China 9.
Oh. When you have to explain it though, Jason.
I know.
Well, I'm sorry.
I'm used to having smarter co-casters. No, no, you're right. Yeah, they did stop the payload from pushing even further there. It didn't even matter because I don't think they actually got extra distance off that. Unturned doesn't look happy on the stream. He's been shut down for the most part. We've had a lot of respect given to him. I think it was Envision who screamed against him talking about how good this player is, and he's been shut down. I think the entirety of the series. I haven't seen
the Hanzo.
Yeah, I mean, the Hanzo, yeah. But like past that point, he has not accomplished what he's been able to do in Overwatch Premier Series.
He had some good play on Doomfist earlier on, just hasn't used it as much as we had seen throughout the regular season of the OWPS. Yeah. Maybe this is where you just go back to your roots, play your comfort zone, right? Don't try to match AF for toe-to-toe. Don't go toe-to-toe with them with certain compositions. Right now,
Please do it.
MT1,
do you see it?
This is their final opportunity to get a win. The map column there up against
AF. You're ignoring me just because you don't want to talk about it. It's not happening, but
probably not going to happen.
I think we will see more resets though.
Yeah,
I think there's a good possibility.
I mean, if we go to maps like Junkertown, we saw that yesterday. Offensive and defensive Orisa. I mean, I want to see as many heroes as possible throughout this tournament, and we got a good amount yesterday.
Well, it will be AF who don't even need to complete the map to close out the 4-0.
We'll
see if they're able to pull it off. Yeah.
We haven't got, did we get a 4-0 yesterday? We didn't, right? It was just a 3-1 all the way across?
And yeah, it was 3-1 across.
Yeah. So no 4 Overwatches yesterday.
Avicii won their final game.
This might be the first 4 Overwatch. We'll see if AF Blue complete this out. They have set themselves up with that win condition, stopping MT1
why is it for Overwatch instead of 04 Overwatch?
Because it rolls off the tongue easier.
04 Overwatch? Come on.
There we go. Crystal's already starting it off. Arhan down along with Lucid. Tydala does get the DMAC. It's still a 6v5 in favor of the defense until Arhan gets that kill on some long launch.
Yeah, Crystal though is already able to build up 60% on his ult. He's actually overextended. He doesn't have an escape here either. And yeah, he definitely will pay the price as Unturned. The res was used onto him. Jin, again, pushing forward. The MVP of, I believe it was not Route 66, it was the map before that. Actually, it was Nepal, yeah. He's just dominating. I don't know, they haven't really been able to deal with him too well. They were earlier on when they had the Hanzo. But since then, they haven't had a real response. Unturned switching.
Defensive Widow.
Yeah,
already gone.
What Widow?
What Widow indeed. Attune now with that final kill. He's got the infra site ready as they push on to the streets portion here on King's Row. And so, we'll see if Unturned wants to stick with this Widowmaker and try and challenge him.
I think you don't have a reason not to.
Yeah.
You've got your ultimate up, which gives you the vision of where they're going to be. Unturned is... Oh, he spots them. He's going to get away with 30 HP too.
A great escape coming up from Attune there. So he was able to spot out 3 members with that infra site. That was
good timing. He got lucky. If he didn't pop that, I think he was almost certainly going to die.
But still, all this time though, the payload hasn't been stopped. They've been pushing it with 3 bodies. Jin can find the kill onto Crystal, and now they're going to continue to go uncontested. And here is the Dragon Blade instantly finding Unturned. Arhan getting focused out, but he's got the heals there. That's a second kill coming out as PP and Marblu will fall. And just like that, AF, they're going to continue their push. They're possibly going to get this checkpoint.
And again, Unturned. He's just being controlled. He's not been unleashed so far in this setup. You had Arhan using the Blade, you had Attune able to kill him in the 1v1, and the Widow v Widow. Now Jin just going to try to stop them from even having any sort of chance to contest it if they did want to go for it. And Unturned again, he's fallen. He's died to Lucid this time.
Oh man.
And I mean, we put a lot of pressure on Unturned, but that's because we've seen what he can do, and we've seen how good of a player he is for his team. We talked earlier on about with him being so good, it alleviates a lot of pressure on Crystal, but Crystal's had to step up himself, and he hasn't really been able to kind of fill that hole they need.
Yeah. Unturned unfortunately falls again to Attune. There's been no one able to take this man out on that Widowmaker. Jin just spawn camping at this point, along with Arhan, not allowing them to get out of the spawn quite yet. They've got the infra site. They know where they're going to be challenging him from.
I don't think they can even jump to him. The thing is, they need to contest the payload the entire time. That Self-Destruct going to come through. He's going to look for a second shot. The Blade out of Arhan, looking to close this one out. Unturned with the bubble up. It's going to save him for a little bit of time, but not long enough. Arhan gets a second right with the Blade, gets resheathed, and Attune gets a kill on a Crystal with the Venom Mine.
Yeah, and with that, I mean, they do have the res on the side of MT1, but it's not going to be enough. The bodies are there for AF. They want to get this 4-0 victory. We know that map scores are going to be very important as we move on later through this week. Arhan continuing to get these kills. IDK even getting in with the Mercy pistol, taking out PP. And with that, it's going to be a freak of freaks with the first 4-0 of the tournament.
I think AF really did their homework. You mentioned earlier the fact that MT1 have played an entire season playing out 9 weeks of season play, followed up by 2 weeks of playoff play. There's a lot of tape on them and a lot of information about how they play and how to punish them, and AF definitely did their homework. That was a great shot of Attune there.
Yeah, the midair onto Unturned.
Again, Unturned he wasn't able to show up this match. He's been shut down.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we do put a lot of pressure onto him just because we fell in love with him because he was one of the catalysts for the turnaround in MT1 throughout the OWPS summer season.
He was, I think, the evolution of MT1 because MT1 was always, I think, top 5 throughout the season. Well, they weren't first or second because no other team besides LGD and MY are there, but he was like the next step of them, the next evolution for the team. But maybe they need to find another route. Maybe his time has passed, because it's not working so far, at least against a team that's prepared for them.
Yeah, so they're just like that. They're in perfect form. They need to find their perfect form there.
Do we need to do this again?
Yeah.
Do we need to go into this conversation?
We shouldn't go down this rabbit
No,
hole.
that's too weak for most people out there.